Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive into fascinating topics.
And I am back as well.
Today, we're diving into a topic that is near and dear to many people's hearts. We are talking about personal finance.
Finances, yes, sir.
Now, we're not just talking about any personal finance advice. We are going old school today, way old school.
Really old school.
We're talking ancient wisdom.
Ooh.
And specifically, we're going to be talking about the book The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clausen, which lays out some supposedly timeless wisdom about building wealth and managing your money.
That's right.
Now, I've got to admit, when I first heard about this book, I was a little skeptical.
Oh, yeah?
Come on, ancient money advice for the modern world.
Yeah, I get it.
Feels like trying to use a clay tablet to check your stock portfolio.
Right.
But I'm willing to keep an open mind.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see if there are any nuggets of wisdom that we can actually apply to our lives today.
Well, I think you'll be surprised.
Okay.
You know what's fascinating about this book is that even though it was written almost a century ago, the principles that it lays out are still incredibly relevant. Because they tap into something fundamental about human nature.
Okay.
Our desires, our fears, and the way we approach money.
Gotcha.
So I think we're in for a treat.
I'm excited to dive in.
Right.
So the book centers around this character named Arcad, right?
That's right. Arcad, the richest man in Babylon.
And he's not some kind of Wall Street tycoon or tech mogul.
No.
He's just a regular guy who built his wealth through hard work, smart decisions, and following some simple rules. And that's, I think, makes this book so appealing. It's not about some get-rich-quick scheme. It's about building wealth slowly
Over
in
time.
Over time, right?
Okay.
So let's get into these rules.
Okay.
The first one that really caught my attention is start by purse to fattening,
Ooh, I like that one.
which basically means pay yourself first.
That's right.
Okay,
So Arcad recommends setting aside 10% of everything you earn
10%
right off the top
before you do anything else.
before you pay your bill.
Now I know what you're thinking because I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
10%, that's a lot.
It can feel like a lot, especially when you're starting out or if you're living on a tight budget.
Right.
But here's the thing. Even if you can only start with a smaller amount, like 1% or 5%, it's the principle that matters.
Okay.
It's about establishing the habit of saving.
And proving to yourself that you're in control of your finances.
Exactly.
You're not just a slave to your paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this reminds me of, a lot of modern day financial gurus talk about this concept of paying yourself first.
Yeah.
David Bach with his latte factor.
Right.
Cutting back on those small daily expenses can add up to significant savings over time.
It's amazing how much money we waste on things we don't really need.
Right.
And that money could be working for us instead.
Absolutely.
So start thy purse to fattening. I mean, it's such a simple concept,
It is.
but it's so powerful.
It's foundational. It
Yeah.
really is.
You got to start there.
So once you've got that 10% or whatever you can afford set aside,
Right.
Arcad's next rule is control thy expenditures.
That's a good one.
Now, this is where I think things start to get a little tricky.
Okay, why?
Well, in today's world, we are bombarded with messages to spend, spend, spend.
Oh, yeah.
We've got targeted ads, social media influencers.
Everywhere you turn.
Everywhere you
Someone's trying to sell you something.
Yeah. It's so easy to fall into that trap of lifestyle inflation.
Oh, yeah.
Where your expenses just keep growing to match your income.
Absolutely. And Arcad warns against this specifically.
He does.
He says our desires are like a bottomless pit. If we don't control them, they will consume everything we have.
Ooh, that's good. That's quotable.
Write that down.
I like that.
Right.
So how do we control those expenditures?
Well, it starts with being mindful of our spending,
Okay.
tracking where our money's going.
Budgeting.
Yeah, exactly. Budgeting, I know it's not the most exciting word,
No.
but it's essential.
It is.
If we want to take control of our finances,
So Arcad was basically a budgeting guru.
he was way ahead of his time.
Thousands of years ahead of his time.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And you know what's interesting?
What's that?
This rule ties in perfectly with the modern minimalist movement.
Oh, yeah.
People are realizing that true happiness doesn't come from accumulating more stuff. It comes from experiences, relationships, and living a life of purpose.
Right.
So control my expenditures. It's not about depriving yourself. It's
Right.
about being intentional with your money, spending it on things that truly matter to you,
I like that.
and cutting back on the things that don't lose.
So we've talked about saving.
Mhm.
We've talked about spending.
Right.
What about investing?
Ah, yes.
Because we all know that's how you really build wealth.
That's where the real magic happens.
Right.
And Arcad's got a rule for that, too.
He does.
Make thy gold multiply.
Okay.
Now, even back then, the Babylonians understood that money should be put to work. It shouldn't just be sitting idle. It should be invested in ways that generate more wealth.
Okay, so they didn't have stocks and bonds and mutual funds back then.
No, they didn't.
So what did they invest in?
Well, they invested in businesses, real estate, and even lending money to others at interest.
Wow, so they were like the original venture capitalists.
They were.
That's amazing.
And these principles are still relevant today.
They are.
Right.
You know, we might have fancier investment vehicles now.
We do.
But the underlying idea is the same. You know, putting your money to work for you.
Making it grow.
So how do we apply this principle in the modern world?
Well, there are countless ways to invest your money today.
Yeah.
You know, you've got stocks, bonds, real estate mutual funds. Cryptocurrencies. The list goes on and on.
And it can be overwhelming.
It can be.
Especially for beginners.
Yeah.
So where do you even start?
Well, I think a good starting point is to educate yourself.
Okay.
You know, read books, take courses, talk to financial advisors, learn about different investment options, and find what aligns with your risk tolerance and your financial goals.
Gotcha. So there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
No, definitely not.
It's about finding what works for you.
Exactly.
And remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's right.
You know, slow and steady wins the race. Don't try to get rich quick.
No.
Focus on building wealth over time.
Exactly.
So make Fight Gold multiply. It's about being proactive with your money.
Yes.
And finding ways to make it work for you.
That's right.
Now, I'm curious about this next rule.
Oh, yeah.
Guard thy triggers from loss.
Ooh, that's an important one.
It sounds like something straight out of an Indiana Jones movie.
It does, doesn't it?
But it's actually about protecting your investment.
That's right.
From risky ventures and scams, which is more relevant than ever in today's world.
Especially today.
Right.
With all the financial scams and get-rich-quick schemes out there.
So how do we guard our treasures in the modern world?
Well, I think one of the most important things is to do your due diligence. Before investing in anything, research it thoroughly. Understand the risks involved.
Don't just jump in blindly because of FOMO.
Exactly. FOMO is a powerful motivator.
It is.
But it can also lead us to make bad decisions.
Right.
So take your time, do your homework, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
And if something sounds too good to be true.
It probably is.
Yeah, it probably is.
Arcad would definitely agree with that.
He would.
You know, he emphasizes the importance of seeking advice from those who are knowledgeable and experienced. So don't be afraid to reach out to a financial advisor.
Right.
Or a mentor. Or
someone you trust.
Someone you trust.
It can help you make informed decisions.
Exactly.
So guard my treasures from loss. It's about being a savvy investor.
That's right.
Not letting your emotions or greed cloud your judgment. And protecting your hard-earned money from those who would seek to take advantage of you.
Exactly.
So we've got saving, spending, investing, protecting our investments. What else does Arcad have in store for us?
Well, this next rule is one that's near and dear to my heart.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Own thy own home.
Oh, that's a classic.
It is a classic, right?
The American dream.
The American dream homeowner.
But it's not just an American dream, is it?
No, it's a universal desire to have a place of your own.
Right.
A sanctuary, a place to raise a family.
Build memories.
Build memories, exactly.
Now, Arcad believed that owning a home was an essential part of building wealth. Why is that?
Well, for one thing, it provides stability.
Okay.
You know, you're not at the mercy of a landlord.
Right.
You have a place that you can call your own.
And it's an investment.
Yeah, it's an asset that can appreciate in value over time.
Right.
And, you know, you're building equity.
And it can be a source of pride.
You know, taking care of your home, improving it.
Making it your own.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful feeling.
It is.
Yeah.
Now, of course, homeownership is not without its challenges.
No, it's not.
No. Especially in today's market.
Yeah.
You know, we've got rising interest rates.
Housing prices through the roof.
It can be tough to get your foot in the door.
It can be.
But Arcad's advice is still relevant. You know, if homeownership is a goal for you, start saving.
Right.
Do your research and be patient.
And don't overextend yourself.
Right.
You know, buy a home that you can comfortably afford.
Yeah, don't become house.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
So we've got saving, spending, investing, protecting our investment.
Homeownership.
Homeownership.
What's next?
Well, this next rule is particularly relevant in today's world.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Well, I think we're all feeling a little bit of economic uncertainty these days.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we've got inflation. It can feel like the ground is shifting beneath our feet.
It can.
And that's why Arcad's rule, ensure future income, is so important.
Oh, that's a good one.
Now, he wasn't talking about buying insurance policies,
Mm-hmm.
but he was talking about creating a safety net for
Mm-hmm.
yourself and your family. So how do we do that?
Well, it starts with having an emergency fund.
Okay.
3 to 6 months of living expenses set aside
Right.
in case you lose your job.
Or have an unexpected medical expense.
Exactly.
Or your car breaks down.
Yeah, life throws curveballs.
It does.
You need to be prepared.
So having that emergency fund gives you that peace of mind.
It does.
Knowing that you can weather the storm.
Exactly.
So once you've got that emergency fund in place,
Right.
Arcad also recommends diversifying your income streams. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't rely on a single job or a single source of income. Explore other opportunities. Start a side hustle.
Yeah.
Invest in real estate.
Create multiple streams of income.
So that if one dries up,
Right.
you've got others to fall back on.
Exactly.
So ensure a future income. It's about being proactive.
Yeah.
Taking control of your financial destiny.
And protecting yourself from the unexpected.
It's like that old saying, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
Exactly.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
I have.
Saving, spending, investing, protecting our investments, homeownership.
Ensuring a future income.
Ensuring a future income. And I'm sensing a theme here.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
All of these rules are about taking control of your finances.
Absolutely.
Not being a victim of circumstance.
That's right.
But being the master of your own financial destiny.
Exactly.
And that's a powerful message, I think, for anyone who's feeling lost or overwhelmed by their finances.
Especially today.
Yeah.
When things are so uncertain.
The Richest Man in Babylon offers a roadmap to building wealth.
And achieving financial freedom.
And it all starts with taking that first step. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next part of our deep dive.
I'm looking forward to it.
So stay tuned, folks.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
We'll be back soon with more ancient wisdom for modern times.
All right.
Welcome back to our deep dive into ancient money wisdom. Are you ready for more Babylonian brilliance?
I am. I'm fascinated by how much of this ancient advice still holds up today.
Me too. And speaking of advice that holds up, I've got a confession to make.
Oh, confession, lay it on me.
Okay, so remember how we were talking about guarding our treasures from loss? Well, there was a time when I didn't exactly follow that rule.
Oh, really? You fell for a get-rich-quick scheme?
Maybe not a scheme exactly, but definitely a shiny object syndrome situation.
I've been there.
You have?
We've all been there.
It was a few years ago. There was this online course promising to teach you how to make a fortune-flipping website.
Website flipping, huh? And how'd that go?
Let's just say I learned a valuable lesson about due diligence and the importance of research before jumping into any investment.
Sounds like a classic case of guard thy treasures from loss gone wrong.
Exactly, and it's a perfect segue into Arcad's seventh and final rule, which is all about investing in the most valuable asset you have, yourself.
Increased thy ability to earn, right?
That's the one.
Now, this is where things get really interesting because it's not just about working harder.
No, it's about working smarter.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that your skills and knowledge are your most valuable assets.
So it's like investing in your own personal stock market.
I love that analogy because just like any investment, the more you put into developing your skills, the greater the return you'll see.
But with so much information out there and so many different skills to learn, it can be overwhelming. Where do we even begin?
Well, Arcad would probably tell you to start by identifying your strengths and passions. What are you naturally good at? What do you enjoy doing?
Okay, so figure out what you're good at and what you love.
Exactly. And then focus on honing those skills and seeking out knowledge that can amplify your earning potential in those areas.
So it's not just about learning random things. It's about strategically investing in skills that will actually benefit you in your career or business.
Precisely. It's about becoming a master of your craft, whatever that craft may be.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be formal education either, right?
Not at all. It could be taking online courses, attending workshops, reading industry publications, shadowing a mentor. The possibilities are endless.
So it's about being proactive and taking ownership of your own skill development.
Exactly. You're not just waiting for someone to hand you an opportunity. You're creating your own opportunity.
And that's something that anyone can do, regardless of their background or current circumstances.
Absolutely. The beauty of this rule is that it's accessible to everyone, and the rewards are limitless.
It's like Arcad is saying, don't wait for the perfect job or the perfect opportunity to come along. Create your own perfect opportunity by becoming the most valuable asset in the room.
Well said, and I think we can see this principle in action all around us. Just look at some of the most successful people in history.
Like Oprah Winfrey, who started her career as a news anchor and went on to build a media empire.
Or Elon Musk, who's known for his relentless pursuit of knowledge and his ability to adapt and learn new skills.
These are people who didn't just settle for the status quo. They constantly pushed themselves to learn, grow, and evolve.
And their success is a testament to the power of increased thy ability to earn.
Okay. I'm definitely feeling inspired to level up my skills, but with so much information out there, it can be hard to know where to focus. What's one small step we can take today to start putting this principle into action?
Well, I'd say start by identifying one skill you'd like to improve or one area of knowledge you'd like to expand. It could be anything from learning a new software program to taking a public speaking course, or even just committing to reading for 15 minutes each day.
15 minutes a day, that feels manageable.
Exactly. And remember, it's about consistency over time. Those small daily investments in yourself will add up and compound just like any other investment.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. Our CAD was all about compounding, whether it's saving money, investing wisely, or investing in yourself. It's those small, consistent actions that lead to big results over time.
You got it. And that's the beauty of this ancient wisdom. It's timeless, it's universal, and it works.
Okay, so we've covered all 7 of our CAD's golden rules. Now let's take a step back and connect all this Babylonian wisdom to the big picture. What does it all really mean for us in the 21st century?
Well, I think it's a powerful reminder that the fundamental principles of wealth creation haven't changed all that much, even though the world around us has transformed dramatically.
So it's not about having the latest gadgets or the fanciest financial strategies. It's about understanding human nature, mastering our own habits, and making smart choices that align with our long-term goals.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that financial well-being is a journey, not a destination. And it requires patience, persistence, and the willingness to learn and adapt.
So it's not just about getting rich quick. It's about building a life of financial security and abundance, a life where we have the freedom to pursue our passions and live our dreams.
Well said, and I think that's a message that resonates with people from all walks of life, whether you're just starting out in your career or you're a seasoned investor. These principles can help you create a brighter financial future.
And speaking of a brighter financial future, I know many of our listeners are probably wondering how these ancient principles can help them achieve their specific goals, whether it's buying a home, retiring early, or simply feeling more secure and in control of their finances.
Well, that's where the magic of compounding really comes in. Remember that snowball effect we talked about earlier? Even small, consistent actions can lead to massive results over time.
So it's not about making drastic changes overnight. It's about making small, sustainable changes that you can stick with for the long haul.
Exactly. It's like planting a seed and nurturing it over time. Those small acts of saving, investing, and self-improvement are like watering and fertilizing your financial garden.
I love that analogy. It paints such a vivid picture of how our financial well-being is something that we cultivate and grow over time.
And just like a garden, it takes time, effort, and patience, but the rewards are well worth it.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired to get out my gardening gloves and start tending to my financial garden. What's one final piece of advice you'd give to our listeners as they embark on their own financial journeys?
I'd say don't be afraid to start small. Don't let perfection be the enemy of progress. Just take that first step. Whether it's setting up a budget, opening a savings account, or committing to learning one new skill this year, every step you take is a step in the right direction.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are countless resources available to help you along the way, from books and podcasts to financial advisors and online communities.
Exactly. Find what works for you, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into the timeless wisdom of the richest man in Babylon, let's leave our listeners with a question to ponder. What one small step will you take today to start building your own financial empire?
And remember, the richest man in Babylon wasn't born that way. He became wealthy by applying these simple principles consistently over time, and so can you.
You know, it's really amazing to think about how these principles from ancient Babylon can still be so relevant today.
Yeah, it really shows that human nature and the fundamentals of wealth building haven't changed all that much over the centuries.
We might have fancier tools and technology now,
Right.
but the core principles are still the same.
Absolutely.
Save wisely, invest carefully, and continuously learn and grow,
Those are the keys to building a solid financial foundation.
no matter what era you live in.
That's right.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the richest man in Babylon, I want to leave our listeners with something practical.
Okay.
What is one small step that anyone can take today to start applying these principles to their own lives?
That's a great question. I think the most important thing is to just start somewhere.
Okay,
Don't get overwhelmed by trying to do everything at once.
right.
Just pick one small action and commit to it.
Okay, so baby steps.
Exactly, baby steps.
Like what?
Well, it could be something as simple as setting up an automatic transfer to your savings account,
Okay,
even if it's just a small amount.
right.
Or maybe it's committing to tracking your expenses for a month. Or maybe it's picking one new skill to learn and dedicating 15 minutes a day to spending it.
I like that 15 minutes a day that feels manageable.
Right.
It's not overwhelming,
Exactly.
but it's consistent.
And consistency is key.
It is.
All small actions repeated day after day, week after week, they add up over time.
And that's how you build momentum.
That's how you create lasting change.
That's how you build a solid financial foundation.
And that's how you ultimately achieve your financial goal.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
That's right.
There are so many resources available to help you on your journey.
Right.
Books, podcasts, financial advisors, online communities. Find what works for you.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
So, as we close out this deep dive into ancient money wisdom, I want to challenge each of you listening to think about one principle from The Richest Man in Babylon
Right.
that you can start applying to your life today.
I love that.
It doesn't have to be a huge change.
Nope.
Just one small step.
In the right direction.
Because even the smallest actions can lead to significant results over time.
That's the power of compounding.
It is. And remember, the richest man in Babylon wasn't born that way.
No, he wasn't.
He became wealthy by applying these simple principles consistently over time.
And so can you.
So take action, my friends.
Yeah, go forth and prosper.
And until next time, keep seeking wisdom, keep learning, and keep building the life of your dreams.
Take care, everyone.